Welcome back to Social Intercourse on the last day of Leo season, going into Virgo season. Joining me are my co-hosts, Ranji, who is a projector, Taurus, Vicky, who is a manifesting generator, Pisces, and our guest, Steph, who is a projector, triple Virgo, and me, Rachel. Oh, quintuple. Oh, you did that. Okay. Quintuple. And me, Rachel, a manifesting generator, Cancer. So, ladies, I think I just confused the shit out of everyone. So, Steph, right? Steph, can you give our audience just an idea of what the hell I'm talking about?
Okay. I'd like to preface it by saying I am not a human design expert, but I have done a bit of research on it for my own personal support. So I can give you a little bit of what I know, and then maybe you guys can fill in what you've learned. So it's human design. So projector, manifesting generator, reflector. Which one am I forgetting? Oh, and the manifestor. How could I forget? So there's 5 types in the human design system, which is based on it's just like astrology, your birth time, birth location, and it creates this body graph. So it's similar to how the websites generate your natal chart, but it creates a body graph. And the body graph is essentially, or not allegedly, but an energetic blueprint of how you best move through the world. And it's not based in science. It's more of a divination practice. And
it's a pseudoscience, right? That's what they like to call it.
Pseudoscience, yes. Yes. And as someone who practices skeptical mysticism, I love using these complementary tools to move through my life. I like to be grounded in being a human on earth as a spiritual person, or, we're spiritual beings in a human form, in my opinion. And I like to use astrology, human design. What other practice? I have energetic practitioners I work with, and I just use those as tools to help me when I might be feeling like I need a little support. And it's just a fun companion. So I'm a
skeptical.
Skeptical mysticism.
I'm totally adopting that, by the way.
Right? That's our new catchphrase.
Skeptical. Yes.
Yeah, I feel like it's important when we're talking about these kind of practices where there's no evidence-based proof or scientific research, but there is social proof. And so I feel like facing anything with a bit of skepticism is important, because there's openness to communicate, to have conversations, to challenge certain things, and not just in mystical and metaphysical practices, but in everything we do. It's important to have questions.
Okay, so Vicky and I, we really don't know.
Right.
Yeah, because Vicky and I don't know that much about human design. I know that you and Ranji knew. You guys have always talked about the human design more to me, and we. Do you know where it started, or how human design came about, or does anybody know?
So I don't.
It's new.
It is new, and I don't know the person's original name. I think that Rach, you might, but he goes,
I have no clue.
Goes by Rahu Uru. Is that right, Ranj? I don't know if I'm saying it properly. Let me just do
Sounds
a little.
Very Indian, so we'll go with that.
I did do some notes.
Ra-Uruhu. I mixed it up. Ra-Uruhu. I could be saying it wrong, but that's not their name. Their name is Alan.
Oh, look, our person sent a message. We have a robot that tells us stuff. It was Alan Krakower.
Oh, I love AI. This is amazing.
Our AI is named Steven.
Just you know. Is it just like the Alexa where you can ask robot Steven questions and it just information disappears?
Right. Usually we have a robot Dave too, and now we have AI Steven, so it helps.
this person had this mystical experience, and I'm assuming it happened in some sort of download or channeling moment where they put together these different, I believe the combination of them are ancient practices, maybe even religion. And it also uses parts of astrology. And so there's a lot going on.
Oh, okay. So it's Ra Uru, who was the developer of human design. Alan Robert Krakower published a book on the human design. Thank you again, Stephen.
Oh, see, I know nothing. I know nothing about
We'll
it.
get there.
So, okay, what we do know is you are a projector. Ranji's a projector. What does that mean? What does a projector mean?
Ranj, do you want to start?
Sure. So the projector type in human design, they are people who can see a better, more efficient way to do things. So we're really, we can look at a situation or even a person. I do this, and I'm trying not to do this with people. People are not projects. People are not projects. But you can see. Is that too long to tattoo to my forehead? I need it right here.
No, you got to put it where you can see it, like here. Like, yeah, you need it not up here, like where you can smack yourself with it.
On
People
my
are not
arm.
projects.
People are not projects.
But anyway, we can really naturally see an upgraded approach to life and sort of the specific things that we're here to deal with. And we really feel this urge to share it with others. And so the strategy that we have to keep in mind as projectors, and I really struggle with this and I don't love it. Nevertheless, I have to admit it's probably true, is we have to wait for an invitation to share our gifts with the world. And now at first blush, that sounds like, oh, so I just sit here passively on my hands and I don't get to go out and manifest anything for myself. It just works better when you don't force your knowledge on other people before they're ready. They have to be ready. So you really, it all works best if someone asks you to share your gifts or share your knowledge and you know they're open, and then you can just give it to them. You can't run around just dumping that on everybody without an invitation.
Okay. Okay. So you have to wait for somebody to invite you. Now,
ideally,
you guys
things just work better when you do it that way.
Okay. So you guys have different authorities? Was that it? Authorities?
That's right.
What's it?
Yes.
Okay. So you guys are both projectors, but you guys have different authorities. So what does that mean? What's the authority, and how's that different? How do you guys differ in that?
So an authority is the way that you make decisions, how you come upon the decisions in your life when you're at a crossroads. And there are different ways that people, and even outside of human design, people have different ways that they come to solutions in their lives, right? And so my authority is mental. And that means I need to step back and observe the situation from a removed point of view. And of all the things I learned when I started looking into human design, this is the thing that gave me the greatest epiphany about myself, that I had no idea about myself. In all the years that I've been following astrology, only human design gave me this information. And what that means is, and this is kind of weird, so bear with me when I explain this, I hope it makes sense. I actually have to hear myself say it in order to recognize it as the right solution. And so what I need is a sounding board. I need somebody that I can bounce my ideas off of and just talk and work through my feelings as I go. And then once I hear the right solution come out of my mouth, it's almost like it has to come out of my mouth, bounce off of that other person and hit me back in order for me to recognize it as the right solution. Because the other ways don't really work for me. I can't really rely on my emotions. They're kind of everywhere. And I can't just think my way through it, because then I overthink and I get stuck in analysis paralysis. So I really just need to kind of hear myself say it. Okay,
so that's mental. And then, I'm not calling you mental, but you're mental.
I mean, if the shoe fits.
So that for anyone who has and the mental authority can be for any type a person? Like projector, manifestor, generator?
I've admittedly
or
only focused on the projector profile because
okay.
that's me. So I'm not sure if you guys
can have other authorities though.
I mean,
So-
I am an emotional authority.
You're
and
emotional. Mhm.
I'm emotional authority. And so that is where I also feel weird right now because my screen is showing me looking the other direction when everyone's talking. So please excuse me.
Our eyeballs go everywhere. It's okay.
It looks like I'm looking that off the screen. Anyway, so emotional authority is where you ride the waves before you come to it. So before I make a choice, I need to ride my emotional highs, my emotional lows, and then once it's smooth waters, then I can make a choice. And so if you said, hey, do you want to come to Austin? And I'm in a great mood, I would say, oh my God, yes, I can do it. But then I might be crashing, or not crashing, but more at a low point the next day. And I'm just like, I just don't know if I can do that. I don't know if I can take a trip right now. But then after a couple more days, I'm riding the waves. I'm like, no, I really want to go take a trip. Let's do this. But sometimes I will respond as soon as someone asks. And the lesson that I've learned in that is the best response is, can I let you know in a few days? Because that gives me time to process, whether it's small choices or big decisions. I need that time to, which is why it took me a few months to say, hey, Rach, yes, I'd love to be on this show. Not as being a bad friend.
Okay.
It was just.
No, I was just saying, I noticed you do that often when I ask you something, you just say, let me get back to you in a few days. And now I know why.
Yes,
So
because I'm riding my emotional waves. And it really.
Yeah, I just looked mine up too, and I'm the same. I guess I'm
You're
an emotional one too. Yeah. That makes sense.
Wild. Mm-hmm.
So, okay, we did do our body graphs for this. We don't have our robot, but we have our AI. I think our AI can pull up our body graphs right now. There we go. Thanks, Stephen. So these are our body graphs. We are so sexy.
Sexy.
So anyone who wants to do this, if you want to find out what your human design is, we got ours on mybodygraph.com, but there's a bunch of places that you can get it from. I just happen to like this website, and it's free. Mm-hmm. So go do it. Tell us what your human design is. Comment on, and let us know. So
are our names on?
Ranji was very. Yes, they are. They're just small.
I can't see it.
Ranji's first. Ranji's first, then Steph.
I'm the emptiest.
Then Vicky.
I'm the emptiest.
Mm-hmm.
So Vicky and I had no clue what this graph meant. Vicky and I were like, "What are the colors mean? What is this?" Ranji was very excited to receive each. So, Ranji, why were you so excited when you received these body graphs?
So, as you'll see, my body graph, I only have 2 centers that are filled up with energy. Everything is blank. Yeah. 3. Okay. Yeah, I see the yellow one. Everything below the throat chakra is empty. And so when I looked at everybody else's, I was like, wow, between the 4 of us, we might actually make a full person to present to the world. We can fill up each other's centers. We complete.
So I've got nothing in my head. What does that mean when I have nothing in my head?
Okay. I mean, you do the deduction. No, I'm just kidding.
So the colored. The colored parts, and there's it's defined and undefined is what some people call them. And so if it's a defined part of your chart, that means that you're solid with that information. But if it's undefined, that's where your wisdom lies. And that's where people come to you. That's where your greatest gifts are, is the undefined areas.
Undefined?
Open. So open or undefined, that's where your greatest gifts lie. That's also where you're most influenced by other people. So with our full chart here, like when we put the 4 together, Ranji and I are being influenced in our root, in our what is it? Our spleen, and then what is the other one? Sacral. I think those are the areas. I should know more. I don't, but we're being influenced.
We're not experts. It's okay.
By Vicky, because she's got the one center that none of us have. So Vicky, you are influencing us in that.
Thank you,
area.
Vicky.
And then, and then there's also arrows. There's so much information in the chart. There's the unconscious and then the conscious side, which are the I guess they're black and red, or is it
red?
Yes. And then there's the arrows, which also have different meanings. And then there's at the top one, I think, is our sun, I believe. Again, I can't see; it's very small.
Arrows.
But if you do the different charts, the talking graph, and then one is a regular body graph. So depending which chart you look at, has the arrows.
Okay, so now that we know, I'm a sacral authority. I don't know what that means. I'm guessing I go by my gut feelings.
Yes, you're the So you know immediately, and you feel it in your body, and you're just like no or yes. You're like the true epitome of a heck yes or a heck no.
Pretty much. But then I do get into my head afterwards, like, should I have? Nah. Okay. So thank you, AI. We can get rid of that now. Thank you.
Thanks, Stephen.
Thanks. So now that, let's say everyone goes and gets their body graphs. Like, what do you do with it? How do we apply that to our lives? Like, if it plays into astrology, what can we, or does it not play into astrology?
So I think the first thing, like Ranji mentioned, that's really important to listen to is your authority and the way you make your choices in your life. That's a really big one. And then the strategy is also very important. So like Ranji was saying, that's wait for the invitation. And as projectors, even before you wait for the invitation, you're looking for recognition. So anything from, we're always waiting for people to recognize us. So that's where, as projectors, we go, we study, we play, we rest. Those are our like big three, I would say. Study, play, rest. So we study the things that we love. We rest because we don't produce our own energy. Our energy is best spent in like 2-hour increments, I think, at the most, before we kind of run out of energy. And then
Steph, just to interject, that was one of the another big benefit that I got from my human design chart was understanding how to best utilize your energy. So projectors, since they don't generate their own energy, and we basically have to get a lot of energy from other people to use, they
steal our energy.
Do well, and we are energy vampires.
Yes.
It sounds like that, doesn't it? Sounds terrible. let's not say that. But I don't have consistent high energy throughout the day or day after day after day. So like a 9 to 5 where it's just kind of in the daily grind, every day's the same. As a projector, I don't have the energy to sustain that kind of life. I need to have flexibility to where when my energy's high, I can get a lot of stuff done. But then when it dips, I'm able to fall back and rest. And I always felt guilty about that in life, because when I needed to fall back and rest, I always felt like I was being lazy or not motivated. And that's not true. That's just kind of how my energy flows. Mm-hmm. So I thought that was helpful.
Vicky, it's amazing.
Vicky, when we were doing the notes, I think I sent a quick, do you have it pulled up by any chance? The brief descriptions of what each human design type is? No?
I don't, but I can pull it up. Hold on. Each. Okay.
Because I think it'll help the listeners know, like what the manifestor is, what the generator is. It was like a brief description. I know I sent the notes. I didn't actually pay attention to the notes myself.
Are you guys?
I do the research.
Do you both have generators?
We're both manifesting generators.
So you guys do have your own energy source because you have the generator in your
I just knew that as a manifesting generator, we're neither a manifestor or a generator, but we're actually a true generator. And we can't actually
that was
manifest
confusing.
anything. We have to wait to manifest something. We have to wait for life to throw something at us and be like, shit, okay, now I can manifest. Or something like that. So Ranji says she has to be invited to do something. I have to wait till life does something for me.
Do you have to wait to respond?
I have to wait to respond, is what they said.
Okay.
The human design said. So I'm like, I hate to wait, but
I don't like
I
that
go
either.
ahead
Well, there's the there's a not self theme if you're not following your waiting to respond
yeah, this is
or not waiting for the invitation. And as projectors, we experience bitterness, which is very on point. I believe your not self theme is frustration. Is that right? Or
I'm frustration.
Yeah, it is frustration. Yeah. Strategy is to respond, not self-theme is frustration.
It's so interesting.
I do know that I was looking this up and it said, as a manifesting generator, Vicky, this is both of us. We don't have to do anything to find love. Love comes to us. Love finds us. And then we just have to respond.
Okay,
we don't have to look for it.
Mysticism comes in because
I'm looking for you guys.
Nobody's looking for me.
I will be dead soon, so hurry the fuck up.
Well, that's the thing. It may come to you, but you just haven't responded to it.
It doesn't say how long I have to wait.
But I know with projectors, even if we get the invitation, we don't have to accept it. That's when you check in with your authority. I ride the emotional wave. Vicky rides her waves. Ranji says it out loud.
Talks to people.
And then Rach, what was yours? What was your
That response, the yay or nay.
Oh yeah.
Right away.
And so
whatever that was.
I'm saying
the authority. So then you're always like, boom.
Yeah.
So we all have our own thing. So if we keep turning back to that, it becomes it's like an embodiment of being
Who
in the
you really
world
are.
in a way that thank you.
Wait, that just reminded me. So Vicky, I'm wrong. We're unhappy, it must be, because it says manifesting generators attract love no matter what we do, as long as we're in our true forms or true self and at our most happiest. So we must not be happy.
Oh well.
I'm actually very happy.
I guess. I'm happy alone. No.
It's happy alone. But I found that interesting. So for people, if you're interested, like, how do you use this? Like, I just Googled manifesting generator. Mm-hmm. How do I manifest stuff? Actually, there's a story, I think, either Steph or Randy was telling me about body graphs back then. And I was like, ew, is that why I manifested something? Like, I had an opportunity. Somebody came into my life and I was like, oh, cool. This is what I wanted. But when I manifested, I was responding to the person coming into my life, and I manifested some. It was too broad of a manifestation. I said, I want somebody who already has kids because I don't want kids for myself. I can't have kids. Not that I don't. I can't have kids. And I manifested that. This person came with 3 kids, and I was like, oh, too much, too much. So I learned that I have to be specific with my manifestations, not too broad, or it will come to me, just not in the way that I
fills in the blanks. However it was.
They're like, oh, you want someone who has kids? Here's 3. I'm just like, woo, that was a lot.
There you go. Just make your love list 2.0 with not 3 kids, 2 kids.
Right.
Yeah.
Very specific. Not a criminal, not like, you have to X all this.
I have to be specific.
Not a criminal.
For other manifesting generators out there,
not in debt.
Yeah, you guys manifest specifically. Okay, that's my warning to other manifesting generators in the world.
But I don't necessarily think that being an MG or a manifestor is directly correlated to whether you can manifest specifically or not. I think that's a general, like, everybody can manifest in their life. And that's how I take it. Like, it's not that you have to do it a specific way. I know that there are some human design practitioners that say that there are specific manifestors and non-specific manifestors based on the direction of one of the arrows in your chart. But I don't know. I don't necessarily think everyone agrees with that. So I think
that's really... just me, audience. Sorry.
No.
I have
no, the human design can really tell you so much. I mean, it is so in depth, and there's so much information in that body chart. You can really go deep into the weeds with it. You can deep dive into a lot of minutia with it. It's pretty cool.
I'm really interested. I'm gonna have to learn more because I'm really just surface level. What I'm also moving on to our other topic, I'm surface level with astrology as well. Like, I know astrology. I've always looked up my astrology since I was young, but I always kind of stuck to Western sun sign. And I recently just got into, you have to know your rising and moon and all that stuff. So I don't know, Vicky, do you know the importance of why the sun, rising, moon, all that stuff is?
I have a real quick definition for you. So your sun sign meaning is the core of your personality, your ego, and your true self. Moon sign meaning represents your emotional nature and how you react to situations emotionally. And your rising is also known as your ascendant, which represents how you present yourself to the world and how others perceive you. So that's interesting.
So those can really all be kind of different.
Different, yeah. Like what I think I am is maybe not what other people perceive me as. I was like, okay, that's
okay.
So it's interesting. So, and then you can get all your other ones too, but those are the big three that I think make the most impact.
Well, that was the thing. When you listen to like astrologers or people who do your astrology charts, and when you're reading for it, they say, check your rising or ascendant as well. And don't forget to check your moon. And I'm just like, okay, I'll do that.
Why?
But why? Why is that? I'm a sun sign Cancer. That's me. So Steph was saying that she's a quadruple, or was it quintuplet?
Quintuplet? I have 5. Yeah, I have 5 Virgos in my chart. But and I am very messy and disorganized. So it depends on the placements and what house they're. It's so complex. So
which brings us to the house.
Why does she have 5? Okay.
Okay, so I'll kind of explain
houses.
I'll explain how the houses work in your astrology chart and what that's all about. So as we know, the sky is constantly changing because the planets and the stars are moving through the sky. And your personal astrology chart is basically a snapshot of what the night sky looks like at the moment of your birth. So your astrology chart is usually shown in a circle, and it's divided into 12 equal pieces, almost like a pie chart. And so each of these pieces we call them houses, and each house represents a different area of your life. And something cool I learned during my research for this is, as you move from the first house through the 12th house, it also represents the evolution of the soul. So your soul evolution starts with an individual focus. You're more worried about yourself. And then as you move through the houses, you kind of evolve to be more concerned, less about yourself and more about like society and the collective as a whole. So I thought that was really cool. But I'll quickly run through each house and its corresponding life theme. I'm going to read this because I do not have this memorized. But houses 1 through 6.
Shame.
Oh.
I know, the shame. I'm so lucky you guys accept me and all my flaws. I love you for it. Thank you. So houses 1 through 6 are usually referred to as your personal houses because those life themes have to do with your immediate life and your sense of self. And then houses 7 through 12 are called the interpersonal houses because they have broader themes beyond yourself in your immediate life. So the first house is your house of self. Second is value and possessions. Third is your house of communication. Fourth is your family and home. Fifth is pleasure, like how you prefer to seek and experience pleasure. 6 is your house of health. And then 7 is your house of partnerships, 8, transformation, 9, purpose. 10th house is social status, 11 is friendships, and your 12th house is your subconscious. And so how we use these houses in astrology, as the planets make their journey around the sun, they move through the different houses. And at the moment of your birth, when you take a picture of that night sky, each planet is caught in a particular house. And so also each planet is associated with its own type of energy. So for instance, Venus, the Venusian energy is love and beauty, and opposite of that is kind of Mars, which would be aggression and action. So each planet has its own energy signature. And the house that it falls in your birth chart is going to tell us where and how that energy force is going to show up in your life. So for instance, Jupiter is the planet of luck and fortune. I have Jupiter in my 7th house of partnerships. And so what that means is I should be naturally lucky in my partnerships of all types, not just romantic, and that luck should come to me with partnerships without me having to try very hard. I shouldn't have to put in blood, sweat, and tears. It should come naturally and easily. So a similar, but a little bit of a different take on that would be, I could expect to find my greatest luck and fortune in life when I'm in partnership with others. So that's kind of a quick overview of the houses. Again, you can get real deep into the weeds on this stuff, but.
Okay, so I don't know. The houses always scared me because it's just too much information for me. But I like when other people tell me how to do it or what it means. So I'm gonna always like call you and step up. Hey, what's my house in today? Like Mercury. Mercury is retrograding. What does that have something to do with the houses, or?
It always sounds
Mercury
bad.
Retrogrades.
So retrogrades, retrogrades is whether a planet is moving forward through the sky or backwards through the sky. So the energy of Mercury has to do with communication and just kind of logistically how things fall together. And if it's moving forward, you can expect your communication and logistics to go pretty well. If Mercury is moving backwards in the sky, then you can expect all of that to go to shit. And
I believe Mercury is retrograding tomorrow. Yeah, I think Mercury is retrograding tomorrow, everybody. So
it's retrograding tomorrow in Virgo. It's Mercury's in Virgo retrograding, so it's appearing like it's moving backwards in Virgo during the start of Virgo season. And Mercury rules Virgo, so it's a big party.
So have fun with that stuff.
I've reframed the way that I see the planets, and I know that the planets are always supporting us. And so trying to see retrograde as more of a helpful situation. So it's a time of revisiting, reviewing, redoing. So anything with the RE in front of it, it's perfect. That's how I do it. Not everyone is on that same page. I don't know, Vicky, what did your mom teach you about Mercury retrograde? I know she really influenced you in your spiritual realm.
She did. I mean, we got. That's what my mom gave me this book. This Linda Goodman's Love Signs. That was like her. Like, okay, go find your Pisces mate or whatever. So we got a big giggle out of that, but. We didn't get too far into Mercury retrograde and stuff like that. Like she had her charts done, but I think she knew that it was like going over my head a little bit because I don't know. I don't know if it's a Pisces thing to swim the other direction, but I was kind of like, But yeah, we always like, she did a painting for me that has my Pisces fish on it. And she, she would wear blue topaz because that was her Scorpio stone, and like just little things like that were kind of like little good luck things. Mm-hmm. I think she was a firm believer in like, this might be your chart when you're born, and this is your pattern, or this is your manifesting whatever, but it's the blueprint you're given, but it by no means defines your destiny as a person or what's going to happen to you or how, you know what I mean? It's like, when you do palm readings, you have your right hand and your left hand, and one is what you're born with and one is what you can do with it. It's like you can still take, like Steph said, you can take the information and look at things a different way, or you might, use it to help you make decisions, but it's not an excuse to not make a decision. It's not an excuse to say, well, Mercury's in retrograde, so I can just have a shit day and it's coming. Sometimes you're going to manifest your own stuff because you get too far into it. But it's a good guide or tool. And that way, I think that was always her way for me, like the skeptical mysticism. That was totally her. So,
is that
it's fun, but take it with a grain of salt.
Thank you, Steph, for reminding me, because how did everyone get into this whole metaphysical mysticism? Because I don't even know how I got into it. I just always, as a child, was like, ooh, cool, self-learning.
Oh, my mom was like, I was born. Do you guys know what it means to be born with a veil?
Yes.
No. Have you ever heard that term?
They call it a caul, C-A-U-L too.
Yeah, that my mom was born that way. So she was like, well,
what does that mean?
Already.
I had that
So
too.
you were just born with the...
Oh, you were too, Angie?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
It means you're partially, doesn't it mean you're born with a part of the placenta or something around?
Covering your face.
Oh, yeah, and it's supposed to signify that you're a spiritual person because you still have like one foot in the other world, or when you're born.
Ooh, I have goosebumps.
You're the fortune teller. Yeah, you're the fortune teller or whatever. I don't remember the exact definition.
You were born
something like that.
You were born that way, Randy?
No, my mom
was
born
with the placenta.
Oh, Randy was.
Her mom and you.
I was born with a partial caul or veil, so it wasn't full, but it was just partially covering. So I guess I got.
I'm gonna ask my mom.
You're our guru then. Tell us what you see, Randy.
Steph, how did you?
My mom. I grew up like she would read tea leaves, and she would always read cards, and she would know she would clip out the astrology for your birthday. Remember, it used to come in the paper, like, oh god, I'm so old.
Yes.
But like it would, I have little clips from her from when I was really young, like today is your birthday, and it's and it would like tell you your year's fortune and like that kind of stuff. Yeah.
I love
Sorry,
that.
go ahead, Steph.
I love that.
Oh no, I love hearing these stories. I love how she taught you to use mysticism responsibly and be accountable for the choices you make versus like life is happening to me because of I'm a Pisces or this, but like being like, okay, this is what you've got, and now you get to choose. I love that. So thank you for sharing your mom's wisdom. Go ahead.
No. I just agreeing. Go ahead. I was just agreeing. Yes. You're welcome, my love. Yes. Boom at you. Okay.
I was a gymnast through my entire life. So I started when I was 3. I did it through college, and my mom would take me to there wasn't a crystal shop really that we would go to, but we would go to the science store, and I would head to the rocks, and I would pick out my lucky rocks, and I had a little bag of crystals and rocks that I would put in my gym bag every meet, and it's my lucky rocks. And so that was my introduction to crystals, and I would carry them everywhere with me. And I don't know, at some point in adulthood, I got quite sick and started looking into alternative things from Western medicine because it wasn't working for me. And that led me to homeopathy, naturopath, alternative, holistic internists. And then at some point I landed on a Reiki practitioner or breath work or yoga or, all of the things. And that's kind of how I stepped into that realm. And I also would read my horoscope in the back of Teeny, what's that magazine? Big, I don't know if the Bopper, do you remember Big Bopper? I don't know if those had horoscopes in it. Is that what it's called? Big Bopper? But the back of
or Bop, just
Bop, something, I don't know.
Something like that.
You're probably right.
Something like that.
But I would read magazine horoscopes but I think it all came together in my early 20s. I started diving in a little more when I wasn't feeling so well. And it just kind of opened this whole door of this world that I was like, whoa, this exists. This is amazing. And also, that's kind of my introduction to it. And then human design specifically, a friend of mine years ago was like, hey, you're always saying that you are low energy and that you can't really do things for more than this amount of time. And, you should check out Human Design. I think you might be a projector. And I did the quiz. It's not a quiz, but I thought at the time it was a quiz. And it turned out to be true. And I was like, wow, she really understood me and understands this thing. And that opened the door to more astrology. I use the Chani app all the time. Love it for astrology. So got my tools that kind
Were
of
you the one that told us about the pattern app, Steph, or who was that got us on the pattern?
Was
that you?
It could have been I don't
maybe
remember.
Steph.
I don't know who
I
told
love
me
that.
about it. It
that
might have
app
been
is
some
so
guy I was
cool.
seeing. Oh, you know what? It was some guy that I was seeing. He told me to do the pattern. I was like, oh, I'm going to invite all my friends.
Oh, really?
I want to hear what he thinks. Yeah, I invited you all into it. I love the pattern.
Okay. I like that.
So, okay. We've got human design. We've got astrology. And there's so many different types of astrology. I found out there's like Vedic astrology, which I think also human design uses the Veda practices. There's Chinese astrology, which I grew up with Chinese astrology. That's just, I didn't even know it was Chinese astrology. Growing up, my family, every Asian family just uses it. And yeah, there's so many forms of it. People go check out the pattern. It's an app. It's free. Download it. There's also now the pattern does like dating by your pattern or something. So if you want to date somebody, find out. And yeah, so I didn't even ask Vicky if she wanted to do some tarot with us. But Vicky has some tarot cards.
Comment if you want to have that in an episode sometime, and we can. I mean, I have my deck, so it's kind of late.
Well, we'll see. We're coming to the end of this show, but remember, everyone, we have an after show. Maybe Vicky will do a show and tell for us. And we might have Vicky read some stuff from the book, her mom's book of the love compatibility.
Oh, yeah.
We want to know. We want to know, like, who are we compatible with? I want to know. I mean, I think I know. It's a gut feeling for me. It could say I'm compatible. I'm like, nope. Yeah. Remember,
my sun sign and my moon sign.
Every Tuesday, new episode. If you like this episode, please like, share, and subscribe. Leave a comment. Tell us we're all idiots, whatever. We don't know anything. Or give us the hand of applause. Join us on the after show, and we'll see you next Tuesday.
Bye, guys.